Happy Easter from Chat Sports. I'm Mitchell Renz. You're watching NFL Daily, and I want you to shout out a team that you think should trade down in the first round of the NFL draft, because coming up here on today's show, I got 7 teams that I think should trade down. The first team here on my list, it is the Detroit Lions with the number 3 overall pick in this year's draft. I think we can all agree that it would be a gigantic curveball if the Bengals didn't go Joe Burrow and if the Washington Redskins did not go with Chase Young. So what does that mean? That means the Lions are sitting there at number 3, and for a team maybe like, I don't know, the Dolphins or the Chargers looking to trade up to go get a quarterback, you could be knocking on the Detroit Lions' door. And according to Ian Rappaport, the Lions, they're listening. And guess what? They should. So for me, I am trying to figure out which of those teams could potentially trade up for number 3, because when I see that the Lions have pick 35, they got 2 picks in round 3, a pick in round 4. Matt Patricia, he does need to win now. But I'll also say this. I don't even know if they want to win now, if they could. And if you're a Detroit Lions fan, let's add as many picks as possible and just really build for that future. So here's the NFL draft order, and this is from starting at pick 3, obviously. You got the Giants at 4, the Dolphins at 5, Chargers at 6, the Panthers at 7. The 2 teams that I really want to highlight on today's video is the Dolphins and the Chargers, who I think could be the teams that would end up trading up with the Lions to go up and get a quarterback. Now, which quarterbacks do I think that they would be looking at? These are the 3 names, and I'll more focus on Tua and Justin Herbert, because I think that they will be the quarterbacks 2 and 3 drafted in this year's class. I like Jordan Love. I'm not in love with him. He might be a quarterback that I think slides down like a player like Drew Lock did last year. So if you love the NFL draft, I want you to go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Hit us with that big sub button down there. Turn on your notifications so you don't miss anything. We're going to be live for all 7 rounds of the draft. It's like 20 hours of coverage, and we actually get the picks before you'll see them on TV. Hint, hint, wink, wink. But with over 7 million views last year, I think that we proved that this is the channel. If you love the NFL draft, that you should subscribe to. We also do a whole lot of other videos as well. So we drop videos every single day on the channel. And this is actually a video that I did 3-4 days ago. Teams that could trade up. I had a lot of good responses from it. Over 10,000 views. So you guys wanted the trade down video. Well, here you go. That's what Chat Sports is all about. Giving the people what they want. Let's go to the New York Giants now here, who finished the season at 4-12, and they have the number 4 overall pick in this year's draft. If the Lions don't trade down for some reason, I think then this becomes even more of a possibility that this Giants team could move from pick 4, because then again, maybe the Dolphins, maybe the Chargers, maybe another team wants to trade up to get a quarterback. Now, Dave Gettleman back on February 25th, and for those of you that watch the show, you'll know I'm not the biggest Dave Gettleman fan, and I think a lot of Giants fans would actually agree with me. But Dave Gettleman did say something smart where he said the Giants would be open for business if a team wanted to come up and trade up. And I think if you're a Giants fan, that makes a lot of sense, because yes, you have pick 4, but you also have pick 36 and 99. You have at least 1 pick in every single round this year. And if you're a Giants team, you still need to be able to build. You need to build around your assets, like a Saquon Barkley, like a Daniel Jones, who you drafted 6 overall last year. This team still has a lot of missing holes, but if you can build around your solid foundation already, this is a team that I think could actually surprise a lot of people in some years to come. So I want you to let us know right now. I'm going to make this the pinned comment on today's video. From a scale of 0 to 100, 0 being you're not excited at all, 100 being you're super stoked, I want you to scroll on down, and I want you to comment on the pinned comment, okay? Let me know how excited you are from a scale from 0 to 100. The number 7 team here in the NFL draft order is the Carolina Panthers. And I think that this team is obviously going to look a lot different. You got a new quarterback with Teddy Bridgewater. It's no longer Cam Newton. You have a defense that lost 11 players to free agency and just trades this upcoming year. Plus, you also lost Luke Kuechly, your defensive leader on defense, to retirement. So with Matt Rule looking to rebuild this team, I think this is going to be a team that is going to be very, very active, not just in the draft, but the entire offseason, as they've already shown. So when I think about a lot of teams that have maybe traded up for a quarterback, like the Dolphins, like the Chargers, what does that mean? that means other players start to slip down the board. Now, when I think about two players that I know a lot of teams are going to have their eyes on, it's Jeff Okudah and Isaiah Simmons. So let's say Jeff Okudah slides down the board and he's on there for the Carolina Panthers at 7. I think Carolina would love to have Jeff Okudah because they lost James Bradberry to free agency. But if a team's willing to trade up for Okudah and give them extra picks, I think it's something Matt Rule would listen to. But he's not the only guy. Isaiah Simmons, who absolutely killed the NFL Combine, and you can't even list him as just a linebacker. He's an athlete. He plays all over the football field. Again, Carolina would love to have Simmons, but if another team is willing to give you maybe 2 picks for a player like Simmons and you're Carolina that's trying to rebuild, I think it makes a lot of sense. Also, what makes a lot of sense, I've done these shows for about 2.5 years. We've never had a jersey deal as good as this. If you want to go out and get a Nike NFL jersey, this deal ends today, okay? So if you watch this on Sunday, the Nike jersey's only $60. That ends tonight, so go ahead, take advantage of it. It's at chatsports.com/NFL jersey. I'll put it in the comments. I'll put it in the description. Well, let's say you watch the video on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and you're like, man, I missed the deal. Luckily for you, the deals are always, or the jerseys, they're always kind of on sale. I would say you can expect around $80, $75, which is an incredible deal for a jersey. But if you watch this video on Easter, go down, get yourself a nice little gift. I'm all about Easter egg hunting, but I'm kind of an NFL jersey hunting right now. Chatsports.com/NFL jersey. Jerseys, Nike, authentic for only $60. That's a really good deal. Let's go to this next team here that I want to talk about that could potentially trade down. It's the Jacksonville Jaguars. And with 2 first-round picks, I think it makes sense. 9, 20, I think they could honestly trade down from either 9 or 20. But with a team that's in just total rebuild mode, you have a young quarterback, you don't really have a lot of main pieces. This reminds me a lot of what the Jags tried to do back in 2016, where, hey, we're going to add as many pieces as we possibly can. And then once you know it, in 2017, they actually made the AFC Championship game. When I think about the teams that could be trading up for Jacksonville, I'm kind of really going to hit on pick number 9 here, because with wide receiver being such a need for a lot of teams right behind Jacksonville, you could see a team like the Cleveland Browns, like the New York Jets, like the Las Vegas Raiders, like the 49ers, or even the Denver Broncos, who are all teams that are in need of a wide receiver, maybe go up and get the guy that they want. Now, for me, I think that there's just like a clear-cut 3 receivers, and for those of you that watch the show a lot, you're probably going to know the names that I say personally, but the top 3 wide receivers that I think one of these teams would be interested in trading up for is either a Jerry Jeudy out of Alabama, CeeDee Lamb out of Oklahoma, or Henry Ruggs out of Alabama. Now, Jeudy to me is the safest receiver, I think the most complete. CeeDee Lamb to me, I think, has the highest upside, where I would compare him to a DeAndre Hopkins. And then Henry Ruggs, if you just want elite speed with 4.27, now he does a lot more than just run, fast. He's a complete receiver. So how about this question? Who will be the first wide receiver drafted in 2020? I want you to scroll on down. I want you to comment it below and let me know who you think the very first wide receiver that is going to be drafted is. Let's go to the Miami Dolphins, who have 5 picks in the top 56. And heck, they got 3 picks in the first round. So if you're betting on a team that's going to be active on draft day, you just got to be smart with your money, right? I mean, you got to bet on the Miami Dolphins, who have just a ton of draft capital. Now, the picks that I'm really going to focus on in today's video, pick 18 and pick 26, because I don't think that they trade down from 5. I think, if anything, they're going to try to trade up and go get their guy. But if you're a Miami Dolphins team that has just a ton of picks, heck, 2 picks in the second round, a pick in the third, and then just, as you can see, a lot of draft capital. But if you're the Dolphins, you're sitting there at 18, and if you know the teams behind you and their needs, I actually think it makes a lot of sense for you to trade down, because wide receiver, cornerback is going to be kind of a need for all the teams that you see up here on screen. So let's just say the Raiders miss out on a receiver at 12. You could see them potentially look to go get a receiver at 19, and I know that they're going to be interested in getting a cornerback. It's the same thing with the Jags. They have a lot of needs as well at wide receiver and corner. The Eagles have a lot of needs at wide receiver. The Vikings have a need at wide receiver and corner. And then who knows? Maybe a quarterback like Jordan Love slides down the board, and the Patriots there at 23 are like, well, we don't got Tom Brady anymore. Maybe we got to go up and trade for a player like Jordan Love. Let's now go to the Las Vegas Raiders, who have 5 picks. in the top 100. And the pick that I really want to just hammer in here is I think that they could trade pick number 19 because they were very active in free agency, signing 12 players. But most Raider fans out there would say that they still have a lot of holes to fill on offense and on defense, especially just adding legit depth on almost all the positions on defense and definitely at wide receiver. But for me, the Raiders, they're looking to get back into that second round because, yes, you have pick 12 and 19, and then you have 3 picks in the third round. But Mike Mayock and John Gruden have said multiple times that they want to try to get there into the second round. So if you're at pick 19 and a team comes knocking on your door, maybe a team that has multiple second-round picks could be an interesting option for this Raiders team right now who only have 7 total picks. I think the Indianapolis Colts make a lot of sense trading up with the Raiders there if they want to maybe get the quarterback that they want. The Texans, not so much. The Ravens, they also have pick 28. So let's say the Ravens want a linebacker. You could trade pick 28 and maybe 60 to get up there the Raiders 19. The Miami Dolphins, plethora of picks if they want to have back-to-back 18 and 19. And the Seahawks also have pick 27. Now, they don't trade up as often, but the Seahawks, the last 8 years, have at least made a move in the first round. So with them, anything is possible. The last team that could trade down is the San Francisco 49ers. And the reason why I think that this makes a lot of sense is I think that they could trade pick 31 just simply to get more draft capital. San Francisco traded up to go get DeForest Buckner, or traded away DeForest Buckner to Indy for that 13th overall pick. I personally think that they could go get a Javon Kinlaw or maybe a Henry Ruggs or one of the top receivers, but trading away Buckner definitely hurts, but it also gives the 49ers a lot more opportunity with pick 13, with 31. I understand that this is a very good football team. I understand that they just went to the Super Bowl, but not having a pick in 2, 3, or the 4th round, I would imagine would drive GM John Lynch and head coach Kyle Shanahan a little bananas. So let's just say at pick 31, there's a team like the LA Chargers, like the Indianapolis Colts that really want a quarterback. And every single year we do see a quarterback slide. And I think the guy that's going to slide this year is Jordan Love. Why? Because of the regression that we saw in 2019. Now there's going to be teams, there's going to be organizations that say, wait, we can get that Utah State quarterback that we saw in 2018. But then there's also going to be teams, and the reason why he's going to slide, because they're going to look at his most recent tape in 2019. So the last 2 teams that I talked about, the Las Vegas Raiders and the San Francisco 49ers, 2 teams that have great fan bases. But I want to know from you, who's the better general manager? I want you to type M for Mike Mayock, or I want you to type L for John Lynch. And if you made it this far in the video, I would imagine you like what we're doing here at Chat Sports. So go ahead, click that subscribe button. And if you haven't already, in the comment section, type Happy Easter. Appreciate y'all. Hit me up on IG at Mitchell Renz 365.